It'll be brilliant counter-programming if it all works out. Vice President Biden headlining at the Iowa Jefferson-Jackson dinner. Across the street, Sarah Palin speaking to an arena full of conservatives. But in our number 2 story on the countdown, there's just one slight problem. Palin's reported 6-figure speaking fee. And some Iowa Republicans think that request is just a little too mavericky. To the Hawkeye State and mixed messages from a conservative group organizing an event and its desired headliner, the ex-governor of Alaska. At issue, whether or not Palin requested a $100,000 speaking fee. Politico reports that the Iowa Family Policy Center has enlisted Team Sarah, a pro-Palin organization not formally connected to the ex-governor, to begin raising money among its members in an effort to collect the $100,000. The White House hopefuls wanting a speaker's fee is unheard of. White House hopefuls do not go to Iowa for money. They go to Iowa for votes, home of the first in the nation presidential caucus, with one prominent Iowa Republican calling the whole situation, quote, really, really odd, end quote. Meanwhile, an Iowa Family Policy Center spokesman wouldn't confirm or deny if a speaker's fee had been requested or offered, adding, quote, any details of arrangements between our speakers and our organization are between our speakers and our organization, end quote. Enter Palin spokesman Meg Stapleton. She tells Newsweek there is no fee and doubts that the ex-governor will even attend. Quote, however, it appears that some enthusiastic members are willing to try anything to entice the governor as we look at her schedule. And quote, joining me now is MSNBC political analyst, the senior Washington correspondent and political columnist for Newsweek, Howard Fineman. Good evening, Howard.
Hi, Lawrence.
This one's just for you, Howard. Who else can handle the comedy bits known as the Sarah Palin scheduling mix-ups? Is this just another one of those things that someone in the Palin camp says one thing, someone else says something else, and it's not Sarah's fault, but suddenly she's in the middle of a whole lot of confusion?
Well, I don't think Sarah Palin initiated this one, Lawrence. I think that the people at that council out there in Iowa want to try to get her there. I think they asked and nothing happened, and then maybe they said, well, maybe we can pay. What's the fee? It wasn't initiated by the Palin camp out in Alaska, but somehow or another a number was mentioned that, according to my reporting, is kind of consistent with what I hear Palin is asking for big commercial speeches out around the country. So somehow it got on the table. I don't think it was Palin's idea initially, but the fact that they didn't totally shut off any possible discussion with the people in Iowa also says that they're willing to at least to listen to the numbers.
And does it also say that Sarah Palin is not planning to run for president? Because if she was planning to run for president, she wouldn't have even responded in terms of the whole speaker fee thing.
No, well, Sarah Palin does not think or act like any other politician I think I've ever covered, with the possible exception of Ross Perot, okay? Now, Ross Perot had more money than he knew what to do with. Sarah Palin doesn't have enough by her lights, and part of the problem here is that the date they're talking about in Iowa does come smack in the middle of the kickoff of her book tour. Her book, Going Rogue, and this is an example of it, is out November 17th. This is the following week they're talking about in Iowa. I know Sarah Palin has a big speech agency. I did a piece on the Newsweek blog about this the other week. She's got a big speech agency back here. They're talking about charging $75,000 plus 3 first-class airfare tickets just to speak at a college event. So now we know it's $100,000 for a political event. Who knows what it was out there when she went over to Hong Kong. And she wants to make some money. Sarah Palin, quite frankly, wants to make a lot of money. The decision on running for president comes later. I don't think by any means, in her mind, this has anything to do with it.
Now, Howard, even if she is adamant about not running for president right now, she's never going to tell us that, or the speaking fee market that, because that would deflate her price, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. So she's thinking it's a no-lose situation for her. She rakes in a lot of money on the speaking tour. She already got more than $1 million advance for the book. The book goes well for her, great. If it doesn't, she's got the advance. She's got the big speeches. And she'll look at the presidential thing next year. She's a hot commodity out there still and will be for some time.
Howard Fineman of Newsweek and MSNBC, many thanks for helping us get to, if not the bottom, somewhere in the middle of this one.
Okay, thanks, Lawrence.